Paige Beckers, she ain't gonna be Caitlin Clark. Not now, not today, not ever. Sorry, it ain't gonna happen.
Why hasn't Middle America given Paige Beckers the Caitlin Clark treatment?
Well, the ratings are out. How much Paige Beckers is moving the needle? There's already statistical evidence. No, she is not moving the needle in women's sports or women's basketball nearly to the effect of Caitlin Clark.
Paige Beckers is back in the spotlight, but not due to her recent performance on the basketball court. Instead, it's her frustration over not receiving the same recognition as Caitlin Clark that has grabbed attention. Beckers seems to feel she deserves equal fame, acclaim, and adoration. However, it's important to acknowledge that she is not Caitlin Clark, and it's unlikely she will ever reach that level of notoriety. Let's look at the facts and recognize their individual journeys.
Paige Bueckers has had one of the best careers in the history of women's college basketball. And looking at these ratings for the women's tournament, it is abundantly clear Paige Bueckers might be a star, but she's not a draw.
Paige Beckers is entering the WNBA with expectations of a grand entrance, anticipating cheers and packed arenas as if it's a royal celebration. However, what she's encountering is a surprising lack of fanfare. The crowds aren't flocking to see her and endorsement deals aren't pouring in. The reality is that, unlike Caitlin Clark, Beckers hasn't yet earned that level of attention, at least not through her statistics, performance, or overall impact on the game. In this video, we'll explore the reasons why Paige Beckers doesn't match Caitlin Clark's hype, and why she may never achieve that same level of acclaim despite media narratives suggesting otherwise. If you're a Caitlin Clark fan, subscribe our channel and drop a CC 100% in the comments below.
A lot of people are saying, oh, everything is she was Caitlin before Caitlin, she's better than Caitlin and all this stuff. That kind of stopped in the media. Caitlin Clark put up better numbers in the WNBA than Paige did in college.
While Caitlin Clark has been breaking records, capturing headlines, and reshaping the landscape of women's basketball, Paige Beckers seems to have been focused on giving interviews and taking on a victim mentality. Now she appears to feel entitled to the same respect and recognition that Clark has earned. The same Clark who has revitalized women's basketball and made it a must-watch spectacle. This stance is not just tone-deaf, it borders on disrespectful to a player who has truly transformed the game. Let's examine this dynamic and its implications.
Paige Beckers is coming in, and she's going to be a driving force.
Clark is going against Paige and Dejanay. ESPN today, when they were talking about Paige, one of them says, I think Paige will be a good player this year, but I'm not expecting a Caitlin-like impact, and that's an unfair bar to set. Dallas Wings using the promo poster of Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark to hype that game.
Now, let's examine Paige Beckers. She had a stellar start in college. Her freshman season was definitely promising. However, since then, it's been a roller coaster marked by injuries, long stretches of inactivity, and inconsistent performances. She hasn't consistently averaged over 20 points per game, and her assist stats are merely adequate. In contrast, Caitlin Clark has been consistently elevating her entire program to national prominence, game after game. When it comes to crunch time, the final minutes that demand clutch performances, it's Clark who steps up, while Paige often fades into the background. Yet some expect us to treat them as equals in terms of respect and recognition. Let's be real, that notion doesn't hold up.
2025 WNBA draft averaged 1.5, the second highest ratings ever. So its peak was 1 million viewers less than the average for the Caitlin Clark experience. The viewership literally got cut in half. Hell of a lot of people said, Caitlin Clark's gone, I'm gonna do something else with my day. And of course, last year, Caitlin Clark came out. The WNBA saw its far and away biggest rating ever for the WNBA draft.
Let's discuss star power. When Caitlin Clark steps onto the court, the world takes notice. Her games have shattered viewership records, often surpassing NBA games on the same nights, prompting major networks to scramble for broadcasting rights. Why? Because Caitlin draws viewers. She transformed the WNBA draft into a must-watch event, attracting record crowds and skyrocketing ticket resale prices simply by being there. When she plays, arenas fill, hashtags trend, and highlight reels gather millions of views. This isn't just hype, it's sheer dominance. Caitlin Clark isn't just playing the game, she's redefining it and capturing the attention of fans everywhere.
She is the chosen one, as they say. That may not be the case for Beckers. For those of you wondering if Paige's acceptance into the WNBA will be different than Caitlin, delusional fan base that follows Caitlin Clark disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go into that league and tear it.
Meanwhile, Paige Beckers had the full ESPN hype machine backing her for the 2025 WNBA draft. However, when the numbers came out, it was a total flop. Her draft pulled in just half the viewership that Caitlin Clark garnered the year before. Half. That's no coincidence. It's clear evidence that viewers aren't buying what the media is selling. They're tuning in for excitement and star power. And right now, it's Caitlin Clark who delivers that in spades, leaving Paige in the shadow.
The Caitlin Clark effect is real. There's evidence of that in college women's basketball ratings, and there's evidence of that now in the 2025 WNBA draft on ESPN delivered the second most viewed WNBA draft ever, averaging 1.25 million viewers. The spin is real from the media.
Let's be real. This isn't about whose workout selfies shine or who gives the most emotional press conferences. It's all about genuine on-court performance and fan engagement. Caitlin Clark doesn't require a polished PR campaign. Her statistics speak volumes. She's the name that echoes through arenas, the iconic figure that draws fans from miles away. Unlike others who seek attention, she naturally commands it. She is truly the essence of the spotlight.
Paige Beckers ain't Caitlin Clark and will never be on the court. ESPN continuing their Caitlin Clark erasure.
When Paige enters, anticipating treatment similar to Caitlin's, the reality is clear. Caitlin's level of fame isn't just given for showing up, it's earned through relentless dominance. At the moment, the name synonymous with that dominance is Caitlin Clark. To reach her status, one must not only participate, but also excel and stand out in a crowded field. Caitlin has set the standard for greatness, and it requires hard work to match her success.
Caitlin Clark got beat up last year because Caitlin Clark was everything the women who she stood on the shoulders of weren't. She was a nice, straight girl that balled hard, had a different game, and it pissed everybody off, including the little gals on ES.
Let's be honest, the media is scrambling to create a rivalry, trying to elevate Paige as the next star of women's basketball. ESPN anchors and social media commentators are pushing this narrative not because Paige has truly earned it, but because they're nervous that a white girl from Iowa, who isn't focused on virtue signaling, has dominated the sport. They fear Caitlin Clark's undeniable rise and impact, prompting their attempts to shift attention toward Paige in hopes of generating competition.
Monica McNuts and the Chimmeys of the world and all the other clowns at ESPN that have tried to paint Caitlin Clark as popular for one reason, and that being a white.
Caitlin entered the WNBA armed with more than just hype. She brought a track record of record-breaking college performances, packed arenas, and endorsement deals from giants like Nike and State Farm, all achieved before playing a minute in the professional league. What did she do to earn this? She simply focused on her game. She didn't climb social ladders or rely on her identity for marketing, nor did she deliver polished political statements. Instead, she let her game do the talking, and it resonated powerfully.
We want to see Caitlin Clark, and we want to see Paige Beckers.
Caitlin scored more points per game, but Paige was more efficient.
How was Caitlin welcomed into the league? Not with parades, but with hard fouls, hate tweets, and relentless hot takes. She faced physical challenges on the court and was mocked on television while being criticized in the press by players and analysts alike. Why? Because she chooses not to conform to the media's narrative, and her very presence disrupts their agenda. Meanwhile, Paige seems to seek that level of attention and treatment, but without the accompanying pressure, performance, or hard work. Let's be real. Success doesn't just come with the spotlight. It demands dedication.
As long as she comes in the league and she joins the likes of Dejanay Carrington and all these others that are always promoting some kind of activism, she's not going to know. Why? Because sports fans want to watch damn sports.
There's a growing trend in the media to position Paige Beckers as the ideal counterpart to Caitlin Clark, whatever that implies. They present her as the polished, media-friendly, socially approved alternative to the player who truly revolutionized the game. However, let's be honest. Paige hasn't consistently been the standout player on her own team. Her most notable moments haven't stemmed from buzzer beaters or game-defining performances, but rather from carefully crafted sound bites and symbolic gestures. In contrast, Caitlin's impactful game remains quieter, yet resonates deeply. But the media latches onto Paige because she aligns with the narrative they wish to promote. She serves as a convenient counter to the disruptor they never anticipated in Caitlin Clark.
And Thomas contrast how white Americans view the two based on stark differences in speaking out against racial injustice. Quote, perhaps it's because, unlike Clark, Beckers has always been outspoken about issues off the court, Thomas wrote in a Guardian article. At the 2021 ESPYs, Beckers was named the College Athlete of the Year. She used her acceptance speech to celebrate and honor black women in particular. In Beckers' famous ESPYs speech, she used her platform to recognize those who didn't get the same recognition as her, specifically highlighting black women. While black America cheered Beckers, it seemed like mainstream white America, a demographic once viewed her as, in her words, a media darling, weren't singling out her praises. Is it a coincidence, or maybe because her injuries have made people forget her greatness as an...
What we're witnessing is the epitome of a manufactured rivalry. This isn't a rivalry forged through genuine competition or fan discussions. It has been crafted in editorial offices and podcast segments. The mainstream media, sidelined as Caitlin Clark rose to prominence on her own terms, is eager to rewrite the narrative. They didn't discover her, shape her, or grant permission for her to dominate. This lack of control makes them uncomfortable. In an attempt to level the playing field, they overhype Paige Beckers, but even this effort is beginning to lose its effectiveness. The authenticity of competition cannot be manufactured, and audiences can see through it.
Back from injury, and now why aren't people focused on Beckers as they were Clark last year when she was tearing up college basketball? Maybe if Beckers had delivered a more vanilla ESPY speech, things would be different. This is a completely embarrassing article. Caitlin Clark is a worldwide phenomenon whose playing style has drawn a level of hype that hasn't been seen in basketball.
Let's discuss the excuses you often hear. Pundits might claim that Paige has had the superior career on paper, conveniently overlooking the fact that she spent a significant portion of her college years sidelined with injuries while Caitlin Clark rewrote the record books. They'll cite efficiency stats to argue that Paige is more polished, but rarely mention the raw, overwhelming production Caitlin has consistently delivered in points, assists, and overall impact. It's important to consider the context as well. While Caitlin endured harsh treatment on the court, being ignored by teammates, elbowed in the face, and publicly questioned by veterans, Paige has largely avoided such adversity. She plays it safe both socially and on the court, which is precisely why she garners media approval. However, here's the issue. Playing it safe doesn't ignite excitement or drive interest.
Looking forward to seeing Caitlin Clark play. That are mad she's on national TV. They're going to brutalize her again.
No amount of speeches, social media campaigns, or favorable media coverage can replicate the magnetic impact that Caitlin Clark has. Greatness can't be manufactured through press releases. The media's effort to elevate Paige Beckers as Clark's equal or even her replacement only exposes the significant gap between them. Numbers don't lie, and neither does presence. Fans perceive it, and they feel it. The discrepancy is undeniable, and it's clear that they are not on the same level.
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT!
She signed my jersey! So happy, I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
This is great news for women's basketball.
Let's examine the raw data. When Caitlin Clark declared for the WNBA draft in 2024, it became a national event, drawing over 2.5 million viewers, with peak numbers exceeding 3 million. It wasn't just a draft, it was a cultural phenomenon and a historic milestone marking the start of a new era. Fast forward to 2025 when Paige Beckers entered the draft. Despite extensive pre-draft hype and media coverage, viewership plummeted to just over 1.2 million. That's not merely a minor dip, it's a significant decline. No matter how ESPN tried to spin the numbers, the audience recognized the difference. They were witnessing a draft without Caitlin Clark, and it simply lacked the same excitement and appeal. The contrast in engagement levels underscores the unique impact Caitlin has had on the sport.
She just brings so much passion to the game, and look at all these people that just want to come and see her.
It is no secret that the Indiana Fever are the most popular team in the WNBA. It is good for the entire
Let's go courtside. When Caitlin Clark is on the schedule, arenas are packed to capacity and tickets resell for hundreds, sometimes even thousands. The Indiana Fever experienced a nearly 90% spike in road attendance and a staggering 265% increase in home attendance compared to the previous year. Clark didn't just generate interest, she created unprecedented demand. A once quiet WNBA schedule transformed into the hottest ticket in town. Her presence moved people both physically and emotionally, attracting fans from all demographics and making every game an event to remember.
If it was the WNBA, I would have considered a separate television package to a network on just Caitlin Clark games. I would have had two packages, the WNBA package, and then a separate, let's say, 15 to 18 game Caitlin Clark.
In contrast, the crowds aren't clamoring to see Paige Beckers play. Her games aren't dominating broadcasts, and ticket prices aren't soaring. Unlike Caitlin Clark, Paige's arrival hasn't transformed the league. It has barely made a ripple. The key difference is clear. You can't manufacture fan interest through media hype and curated narratives. Fans engage when they're truly inspired, and right now, that inspiration comes from one name: Caitlin Clark.
166,000. A new record for a female athlete. Caitlin is the needle. Smashed the old record held by Serena by $100,000.
Who's going to be the next face of the NBA? We don't get to decide that. The marketplace decides that. The people have chosen Caitlin Clark. They enjoy watching her play, her style, her energy, her shot. Whether it's because her game mirrors one of the greatest players in the NBA in Steph Curry or not, I don't know what it is. It's an intangible thing, right? Yes, we can say she's a dog. Okay, there's been other dogs. Okay, she's a great shooter. There's been other great shooters. She has it. She's got the thing.
And for Caitlin Clark to have the awareness to drive the eyeballs there, you have to give her so much credit.
Now, let's discuss Caitlin Clark and her incredible influence on social media and branding. She dominates platforms like TikTok, Instagram, X, and YouTube, with her clips amassing millions of views. Her impressive crossover highlights and no-look passes trend weekly, making her a constant viral sensation. Naturally, major brands have taken notice. Companies like Gatorade, Nike, and State Farm have all rushed to partner with her. While Paige has a few sponsorships, they pale in comparison. This isn't personal, it's a business decision. Brands invest where attention flows, and Caitlin Clark is undeniably a headline-making phenomenon. She's more than just a basketball player, she's a cultural icon.
She is not only the needle mover, she is the needle, but at this point, it's pretty clear Caitlin Clark is driving the bus and driving the set.
Then there are the undeniable statistics. Caitlin Clark isn't just in the record books, she's transforming them. As the NCAA's all-time leading scorer, she boasts multiple 40-point triple-doubles while leading the nation in both points and assists. Clark uniquely combines scoring volume with leadership and consistency at every level of basketball. In contrast, while Paige brings undeniable skill, she exudes potential rather than proof, and in professional sports, potential isn't enough to secure contracts. Proof is essential. Let's also address the injury discussion. It's a valid concern as health impacts any athlete's career. However, availability is a key aspect of greatness. Caitlin Clark consistently shows up and delivers performances that can change the landscape of the sport, while Paige's absence is felt deeply.
Caitlin Clark has taken women's college basketball by storm. It's because she's white, and all of her fans are white, and they're all racist.
I'm looking forward to seeing Caitlin Clark play. That are mad she's on national TV. They're going to brutalize her.
Let's stop pretending. The scoreboard, broadcast booths, arenas, and fan engagement all reveal the truth. Paige's team might hesitate to concede, but Caitlin Clark is the gold standard. Paige simply isn't operating on the same level. She can't replicate the excitement or the statistics, and no amount of PR campaigns can change that narrative. While Clark has filled arenas and made history, Paige continues to grapple with stepping out of Clark's shadow. She seems to hope that hashtags and trending opinions will bolster her reputation, but fans gravitate toward true greatness, not mere slogans.
Like Caitlin Clark because she's not a victim, because she doesn't seem to be angry. And so they find her relatable. She's not playing with anger. She's not playing with a sense of entitlement. And yes, people find that relatable. She shoots logo threes, passes the ball like Magic Johnson, scores a lot of points, leads the league in assists. She's a great, great player, and she plays and shoots and releases the ball like Steph Curry. So there's the attraction to the exciting.
If you're still clinging to the Paige Becker fairy tale, it's time to set that book aside. The rivalry simply doesn't exist, and the comparisons were never valid. Caitlin Clark isn't just ahead of the curve, she's light years ahead. While the media rushes to catch up, history is already inscribing her name in the record books, one achievement at a time. Let's celebrate the player who's reshaping the landscape of basketball and leaving her mark for years to come. If you're excited to see Caitlin Clark back on the court, type CC in the comments. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.